History and anthropology taught us that a human society cannot survive for long unless its members are psychologically contained within a central living myth. Such a myth provides the individual with a reason for being. To the ultimate questions of human existence, it provides answers which satisfy the most developed and discriminating members of the society. But in today's world, all the major world cultures are approaching to the state of mythlessness. The breakdown of a central myth is like the shattering of a vessel containing a precious essence. The fluid is spilled and drains away, soaked up by the surrounding undifferentiated matter. Meaning is lost. In its place, primitive and regressive contents are reactivated. The individual is either consumed by the elemental motivations of power and pleasure, or is exposed to the emptiness and despair of the soul. In other words, with the loss of awareness of a transpersonal reality or God, the inner and outer anarchies of competing personal desires take over. The loss of a central myth brings about a truly apocalyptic condition, and this is the state of modern man. W.B. Yeats gave it a stark expression in his poem, The Second Coming. This poem succinctly strikes the major themes concerning the current state of the collective psyche. The falcon ego has lost the link with its creator, releasing primitive energies of the unconscious from control. The ensuing chaos calls forth in compensation the birth of a new central psychic dominant. What will it be? Antichrist? The allusion to the Sphinx suggests that we must once again face the riddle of the Sphinx and ask ourselves most seriously, what is the meaning of life? It is the loss of our containing myth that is the root cause of our current individual and social distress. And nothing less than the discovery of a new central myth will solve the problem for the individual and for society. Indeed, a new myth is in the making, and Carl Jung was keenly aware of that fact. A Jungian analyst once had the following dream. A temple of vast dimensions was in the process of being built. As far as I could see, ahead, behind, right, and left, there were incredible numbers of people building on gigantic pillars. I too was building on a pillar. The whole building process was in its very beginning, but the foundation was already there. The rest of the building was starting to go up, and I and many others were working on it. Jung remarked on this dream, saying that we are all building the temple. We don't know the people because they built in India and China and in Russia and all over the world. That is the new religion. Jung was the first to formulate the problem of modern man as mythlessness. In Memories, Dreams, Reflections, he describes that after the publication of The Psychology of the Unconscious in 1912, he had a moment of unusual clarity. He heard himself speaking, "Now you possess a key to mythology and are free to unlock all the gates of the unconscious psyche." But then something whispered in me, "Why open all the gates?" And promptly, the question arose of what, after all, I had accomplished. I had explained the myths of people of the past. I had written a book about the hero, the myth in which man has always lived. But in what myth does man live nowadays? The answer might be in the Christian myth. Do you live in it? I asked myself. To be honest, the answer was no. For me, it is not what I live by. Then do we no longer have any myth? No, evidently, we no longer have any myth. But then what is your myth? The myth in which you do live. At this point, the dialogue with myself became uncomfortable, and I stopped thinking. I had reached a dead end. Jung later found his own myth. His discovery of his own mythlessness paralleled the mythless condition of modern society, and the discovery of his own individual myth proved to be the first emergence of our new collective myth.